Do you know? There is an island in this world which is still not visitable and one of hardest place to visit. Yes, it is North Sentinel. In this video we will talk about this island and history of this island. North Sentinel Island is one of the Andaman Islands. It is home to the Sentinelese who, often violently, reject any contact with the outside world. They are untouched by modern civilization. Nominally, the island belongs to the South Andaman Administrative District, part of the Indian Union Territory of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. This island can be considered a sovereign entity under Indian protection. History of this island can be studied from Chola dynasty. Rajendra Chola, 1014 to 1044, one of the Tamil Chola dynasty kings, was conquered the Andaman and Nicobar Islands to use them as a strategic naval base to launch a naval expedition against the Sriwijaya Empire. They called the islands Tinmadavua. After that, history of this island can be studied in time of Maratha Empire. In the 17th century, the Maratha Navy's Admiral Kanhoji Angra established naval supremacy with a base in the islands and is credited with attaching those islands to India. After that we can study this island history. When British visits to this island, British surveyor John Ritchie passed by the island in 1771. Humphrey, an administrator, traveled to the island in March 1867. In the same year the Nineveh, an Indian merchant ship, was wrecked on a reef near the island. The 106 surviving passengers and crewmen landed on the beach and they were attacked by the Sentinelese. After that they were eventually found by a Royal Navy rescue party. An expedition led by Maurice Vidal Portman, a government administrator who hoped to research the natives and their customs, accomplished a successful landing on North Sentinel Island in January 1880. The group found a network of pathways and several small, abandoned villages. After several days, 6 Sentinelese, an elderly couple and 4 children, were captured and taken to Port Blair. The colonial officer in charge of the operation wrote that the entire group sickened rapidly, and the old man and his wife died, so the 4 children were sent back to their home with quantities of presents. A second landing was made by Portman on August 27, 1883 after the eruption of Krakatoa. A search party landed on the island and left gifts before returning to Port Blair. Portman visited the island several more times between January 1885 and January 1887. After the time of British visit we can study its history in modern period. Indian exploratory parties under orders to establish friendly relations with the Sentinelese made brief landings on the island every few years beginning in 1967. The Sentinelese are known to have scavenged both wrecks for iron. Settlers from Port Blair also visited the sites to recover the cargo. In 1991, salvage operators were authorized to dismantle the ships. After the Primrose grounded on the North Sentinel Island reef on August 2, 1981, crewmen several days later noticed that small dark-skinned men carrying spears and arrows were building boats on the beach. The captain of Primrose radioed for an urgent drop of firearms so his crew could defend themselves. They did not receive any because a large storm stopped other ships from reaching them. However, the heavy seas also prevented the Icelanders from approaching the ship. 1 week later, the crewmen were rescued by a helicopter under contract to the Indian Oil and Natural Gas Corporation. The first peaceful contact with the Sentinelese was made by Trilonath Pandit, a director of the Anthropological Survey of India, and his colleagues on January 4, 1991. The Sentinel-I survived the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and its after effects. including the tsunami and the uplifting of the island. 3 days after the earthquake, an Indian government helicopter observed several Icelanders, who shot arrows and threw stones at the hovering aircraft. Although the tsunami disturbed the fishing grounds, the Sentinel-I appear to have adapted. On January 26, 2006, 2 fishermen, Sundar Raj and Pandit Tiwari, were killed by Sentinel-I when their boat accidentally drifted too close to the island when they were fishing for mud crabs. However, they have protected their nature and culture very strongly. I hope they will continue this in future. Like, share and subscribe for more interesting videos.